There have been quite a few talks about how to prepare your child or your student for a concert. What are the things children need to go through in order to be ready? And not just to be ready with a piece, but to be ready mentally, psychologically, and even physically. Now, I won't go into this because I feel that there's a need today to talk about how to react and how to behave after the concert, after children already played. Usually it's the time which children started winding down because the tension of the performance is starting to dissipate. It very much depends on how the performance was, of course. So if the performance was positive, if the child felt that she was doing well, then it will be a different feeling for the child after the concert than if the child feels or felt that he was doing not well. Now, even though this is not actually set in stone, some children will feel okay with one thing, with one result, and the other children will feel very bad about the same result. For instance, some children, when they make a mistake, I would say most children, they get very upset. It's almost like quite tricky to pick up and continue, pick up your will to continue and not to leave the stage running and crying behind the screen. But some other children don't really pay much attention. So it's not that they haven't noticed that they made these mistakes. It's just that they don't make a big fuss of it. Let's find another example. Some children will play very quickly or with an accelerating tempo, and they will be very upset afterwards. And some others will not even notice. So it's quite a few things to look at when a child finishes a performance. One thing is that, is it the feedback that a child gets afterwards from parents, from teacher, from audience, which is important, is the thing which has more influence, the child's own feeling about the performance. So there's no one way that fits all. So here we come, the adults in the program. Here we come, and this is the way that we need to be very aware of the way we respond. And I would say that parents are even more important. All parents want their children to succeed. All parents. And at the same time, some parents feel that their success is continuing through the child. So if the child fails, they feel that they have failed. If the child succeeds, they feel that they have succeeded. So one is that they take this as the continuation of themselves, like the extension of themselves. And another thing is that they feel that they are being judged as parents by the success or failure of a child. And I would dare to say that most of us parents have some of it, even if we are not aware of it. So your child had a wonderful performance. You felt happy. You're proud. You are happy for them and for you. And you wait for the child and you hug him and you're beaming with joy. And you're saying something like, wow, you are amazing. You were fantastic. You were so good. Amazing. Some parents will go even further and will say, you were the best. Not a good idea. even if he was the best in your eyes. You're a star, you're a canon, da da da. That's actually not the best feedback, even if it makes the child feels happy. The happiness will not stay for a long time. Because in order for the child to be able to replicate this success, he needs to know more. He needs to know what was the thing that was wonderful. So this is really the time to give, if you feel that you need to give feedback, give something specific. Say something about the sound, something about the fluency. Find something, so at least one thing to say, a good thing. And I'm sure if you are happy with your child's performer, you've got a list of them. But even this, don't bombard them. Definitely not straight after the performance. So yes, it's good to be happy. It's good to show your happiness. And sometimes I would say try to contain it a little bit. Just find the exact dosage, what to say, when to say, and how to say. So that's quite an easy example because every parent will naturally behave like this or in a bit familiar or similar way when child has had a success in performance. Let's see the other scenario. A child had a very bad performance. Now, let's define what's a bad performance. Can be lots of things. You, the parent, can feel that the performance was horrible because you know that the child played at home much better, which is usually the case. You have listened to what the teacher was correcting, and you did not see these corrections appearing in the performance. Or you could see that the child was so unhappy, so embarrassed, did not know what to do with themselves throughout the performance. You could see the sad face. You could see even tears, even grumpiness. You could see that the child is not happy or you are not happy. This is when you're needed even more, because this is when you're needed to find something good to say. But when I say something good, I don't mean say to the child something like, oh, don't worry, it was good, because you'll not change it for the child. When a child or an adult, any human being, had an experience that they feel not good about, you cannot actually show them or try to change their mind by telling them it was good. Because then actually what you do, you are ignoring what they feel. You're trying to make them feel good, but actually you're trying to make yourself feel good. Because it's very hard for a parent to see a child struggling. It's very hard for a parent to see a child unhappy. As good parents, we really have to acknowledge it. This is part of life. And if we want to do the best for our kids, we need to validate. Instead of actually trying to take something and just rub it up off as if, oh, I'll just say the magic words, I love you, and it was good. Oh, don't worry and don't cry. And this will not help, on the contrary. So instead, take a breath. Because I know sometimes it's not easy for you as well. Take a breath and be present for a child and with the child. Just don't say anything at the beginning. Just be there. You can offer a hand if the child wants it. The child might push you away. Do not take it personally. Just be there in the space and in the distance that the child will feel not alone. I would say if the cry or disappointment is being expressed verbally by your child, and sometimes it will be in the next step. What you can do is, first of all, really, as I said, validate. Say, I hear you. or I know. Don't try to be ahead of the child. So if the child says something, expresses his sadness or disappointment, don't just try to be next to your child and straight away behind the child. Sorry, in front of the child. Oh no, don't worry, honey. It's going to be okay. Next concert is going to be better. Actually, you don't know. Maybe not. So the best is just to be authentic. And I know even if it's really difficult for you, parent, might be even very difficult, just be there for the child. Let the child be seen. Let the child know that you can hear them. Let them know that you can see them. Let them know that you can even feel with them what they feel. And if you're going to offer any feedback, I would warmly encourage you to give feedback for the participation, for give feedback for just showing up, for giving feedback that they kept going. Do you know, if you play an instrument, you know, but I remember as a young student, when I performed in concerts and I had a mistake, what I wanted to do is just to leave the stage and to run and disappear and never to be seen again. I sort of managed. I mean, I did not run away, but I was really just, my heart was beating and I was really looking for the end. Now, when I see my students making a mistake or losing a part or having a stop and finding it hard to pick up, and then they do it, in my heart, I think, okay, I'm sure they will not repeat. If there's a repeat in the section, they will just go on. That's what I would do as a child. No, they repeat and they play it again. And sometimes they will have a mistake in the same place. Sometimes even more than one mistake. And sometimes not. But the thing is not, a feedback for them is not, wow, you didn't make mistake the second time. The feedback is, I just love the way that you kept going. And you repeat it. And usually in these cases, I tell them my experience as a child, how I never actually repeated because I just wanted the disaster to be over. What I really encourage you not to say, never to say, is to show your disappointment. If you think that by telling your child it was quite a disappointing performance, or whoops, you made quite a lot of mistakes, or you're not really keeping the beat steady throughout. If you think you're helping your child, you are gravely mistaken. Children usually know, even if they don't know, they know. And if they don't know, then you don't have to tell them. Because the shame that a child might carry because of a bad performance can be for life. And the last thing you want your child to be is carrying this thing, because as we always talk about music education, whatever happens at the piano will happen in life. So if your child knows that failing is not the end of the world, but because they know it, not because you told them, because they survived it. If your child knows that when they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. If your child knows that even a bad performance is not the end of the world, but not because you say it's not the end of the world, because they had a different performance later. And they look around and they see, wow, other people actually really loved something about their performance. So I know it's not easy, mama and papa, because your children are your extension. And you really want to say something which will improve their life, if not straight after the performance, then a little bit later. So please reflect. If you're not sure what to say, don't say anything. Just take a breath. Breathing is always good. Just be there for your child to celebrate the fact that they stood up, went on the stage, and performed. And your child is going to have many performances, hopefully, in their life. At the piano, in life, searching for a job, finding something new, discovering something, having creating new relationships, and so on and so on. Continue the nurturing. Thank you.